Justice, Mercy, and Masks. Unpacking Act the Fourth of The Merchant of Venice round pushpin introduction. Hello listeners. Welcome back to Literature Unlocked, where we bring the classics alive. Today we're diving into Act the Fourth of William Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice, the courtroom scene that turns the play on its head. This act is not just the climax of the drama, but also a powerful commentary on justice, mercy, law, and human values. Scene summary. Act the Fourth takes place entirely in the Duke's court in Venice. The trial between Shylock, the Jewish moneylender, and Antonio, the Christian merchant, is about to reach a deadly verdict. Shylock insists on the pound of flesh promised in their bond. The Duke pleads for mercy, but Shylock refuses. Enter Portia, disguised as a young male lawyer named Balthazar. She argues brilliantly, first recognizing the legality of the bond, but then turning the law on its head. She allows Shylock to claim his pound of flesh, but not a drop of blood. Trapped by his own logic, Shylock loses everything. The tables turn. The courtroom drama, the setting? The Duke's court in Venice. The stakes? A pound of Antonio's flesh. The players? Shylock the Jew, Antonio the Christian merchant, and a mysterious young lawyer who is, in fact, Portia in disguise. Shylock refuses to accept money and demands what is legally his, Antonio's flesh, as per the bond. Everyone the Duke, Bassanio, Gratiano pleads with him to show mercy. He refuses. Just as Shylock prepares to take his due, Portia cleverly interprets the law and turns the entire case around. Antonio is saved, and Shylock is stripped of his money and forced to convert to Christianity. Theme 1. Justice versus Mercy. Let's start with the biggest theme, justice versus mercy. Shylock demands strict justice. If you deny me, fie upon your law. But Portia, disguised as the lawyer, delivers one of Shakespeare's most quoted speeches. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. She explains that mercy is divine. It is not enforced, but chosen. Here, Shakespeare compares justice, a human-made system, to mercy, which is godly and forgiving. Exam tip. When discussing this theme, contrast Shylock's legalism with Portia's moral reasoning. Quote the quality of mercy speech directly. Theme 2. Prejudice and power. Shylock isn't just a villain, he's also a victim of deep-seated prejudice. Earlier in the play, he asked, "Hath not a Jew eyes?" This famous line speaks to his humanity. Yet in this courtroom scene, we see how quickly the Christian society turns the law against him. Once defeated, Shylock is not only denied justice, but is forced to give half his estate to Antonio, compelled to convert to Christianity, stripped of dignity. This raises uncomfortable questions. Is this true justice? Or vengeance disguised as virtue? CCSU. Focus. Be ready to argue both sides. Was Shylock's punishment fair or excessive? Portia's role. Wit and disguise. Let's talk about Portia, the disguised heroine. She enters the court as Balthazar, a young male lawyer. Not only does she outwit Shylock using his own logic, but she also uses language, legal insight, and calm reasoning to save Antonio. Tarry a little. There is something else. This is the turning point. She allows Shylock his pound of flesh, but reminds him the bond says nothing about blood. Her disguise allows her to operate in a male-dominated legal world. Through her, Shakespeare challenges gender roles and praises female intelligence. Exam tip. Highlight Portia's use of disguise and intellect as tools of empowerment. Mention how she balances law with mercy. Irony and dramatic techniques. Shakespeare uses dramatic irony to full effect. The audience knows Portia is disguised, but the other characters don't. This creates suspense and humor. He also uses repetition. Shylock keeps saying, "I will have my bond," showing obsession. Contrast between the cold logic of Shylock and the poetic language of Portia. Symbolism. The pound of flesh becomes a symbol of revenge, not justice. Final thoughts and revision tips. Let's recap. Act the fourth is about law versus humanity. Shylock represents legal justice. Portia symbolizes moral mercy. The act exposes prejudice, gender dynamics, and the danger of revenge. Learn 3-4 key quotes and their meanings. Practice explaining Shylock, Portia, and the courtroom as symbols of bigger themes. White heavy checkmark bonus tip in exams. Structure your answer as intro with a thesis body, paragraphs with evidence, and quotes conclusion that links back to the question. That's it for today's episode of Shakespeare Simplified. Join us next time as we explore more scenes with clarity and confidence.